Greetings everyone, I'm Jed Shlackman. I work as a holistic counselor as well as a hypnotherapist and energy healer. For this video I want to speak about the subject of compassion fatigue, and this is something that's rather common in the healing arts. People who want to support and assist others who have a lot of empathy and compassion can get somewhat burned out when they have so many people and situations to share that compassion with. So you can become kind of overwhelmed or drained in your energy as you're constantly encountering other people's suffering and being compassionate. It comes naturally, of course, to have and feel that compassion, to want to provide some form of support for other people. However, anything can become excessive in a sense. So we think of compassion as something positive, but if we're constantly in situations and circumstances where our compassion is being called upon, it can become too much for us. Our energy can become drained or depleted, and we can kind of get overloaded by emotions. It's not just people that are in the healing arts that are encountering this, especially in our current era of mass media and social media. We can be inundated with information and stimulus or stimuli showing us things to trigger our compassion. So you might be looking at a social media feed and seeing different people that are your friends or people you follow who are going through difficult situations in their lives, people who are suffering from health situations or relationship challenges, people going through financial distress or going through some type of natural disaster. There's also the various situations going on around the world that involve wars, people being killed or maimed, people suffering through all of these different circumstances. And people who are very caring and compassionate tend to feel this desire to want to give, to provide emotional support to other people, or even material support, financial support. And there's only so much that anyone has the capacity to give. We need to have a balance in our lives where our energy is not being depleted, where we're not constantly giving and not receiving, or vice versa. So let's be conscious and mindful of what's happening with our compassion, with our energy when we're getting overloaded. Sometimes you may have to turn off the TV, put away your phone, stop looking at all these things happening around you, because you can't be the one to provide support to everyone. You can't be the one to fix or resolve all those problems you see happening around you. You can't even know the details of everything. You don't even have the full and accurate story or information about all those different situations. So you can't pay attention to everything and give your energy and your compassion to everyone and everything. You kind of have to set a boundary for yourself with your compassion and your energy. You can focus it where you have the time and resources to do so in a reasonable, balanced way, but you don't want that to consume your life, to prevent you from taking care of yourself, from meeting your own needs, from pursuing your own interests or goals in your life. You can't be the person that everyone is calling out to for help and is giving that help to everyone and never doing anything for yourself, that can become very depleting. So in this time of mass media, of information overload, of scrolling on your phone through social media, seeing everything that's happening with so many other people, and in a sense with the whole world, with people in many different countries, many different places. There are many people out there suffering in some way, and it's not your individual job to fix all that suffering, to not even judge all that suffering as bad or wrong. We don't know the story of every soul, of every being on the planet, of what their path is, what their purpose and intentions are. As souls, sometimes we're choosing to go through situations or circumstances that include suffering, and there's some lesson or reason or purpose behind that. It's helping souls grow. It's bringing growth in some way or evolution of that soul. Sometimes the soul is looking for balance and understanding, and a situation that brings suffering may have some purpose. Someone who's been an abuser may choose to experience being the victim of abuse to have that full picture. So ultimately everything that's occurring in the world and in people's lives serves some purpose, even if it's unpleasant or seemingly unjust or painful. So we don't have to go out and completely fix everything that's happening. It's not necessary to change the world, to remove all the suffering. That's not our ultimate purpose here. As souls, we're having all these different experiences, and part of someone's experience may be to show compassion to someone who's suffering in certain circumstances. It might be to lend a hand to give aid to someone who needs a particular form of assistance in their situation. But if we're not able to support everyone in every situation, that's okay too, in that greater vision or view of things, you could say from the perspective of oneness or balance and wholeness, everything is contributing to a greater whole, and every experience is part of that wholeness, including those experiences of suffering and pain. So it's great to have compassion, to feel that connection to other people, to understand their suffering and what they're going through. But if there is no solution, if there's no fixing of that situation, if a person continues to suffer in some way, that's not something horrible that we can't accept. We can actually find some peace and acceptance with that reality, allowing creation to be as it is in each moment, and just playing our small part, our role here in human life, and not putting the burden of all the suffering in the world on our shoulders. We can find a balance. So I hope that this brief discussion has given you something to consider and contemplate, perhaps inspiring you to manage your energy in a more balanced way, so that you don't have compassion fatigue, so that you won't become overwhelmed by seeing all the suffering in the world. For those that are interested in additional holistic wellness resources, I invite you to view my website, phinsights.com. That's phinsights.com. for now, I wish everyone a wonderful day. Namaste.